A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nelles, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee, on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and on the free Odyssey app.
Perkins, center field, that'll get it done! Scored as a hit! In comes Haas, and the Brewers walk off the Marlins! Blake Perkins delivers in the clutch. Good morning and welcome in. And sometimes you just need a little Sunday afternoon magic to beat back the doldrums. The Miami, Florida, South Florida, South Miami, whatever, Marlins come to town playing pretty good baseball, and they win on Friday, and they win on Saturday, and it doesn't feel very good, does it? And then they lead 2-1 in the 8th inning on Sunday, and it doesn't feel very good, does it? That was Blake Perkins taking care of business in the bottom of the 9th yesterday, but Blake Perkins never would have happened if Vaughn hadn't been Vaughn. Vaughn, center field, on the run, Myers at the track, it's off the base of the wall. It bounces up, hits the bottom of the rail back there. It's an automatic double. Thank you, courtesy FanDuel Sports Wisconsin. That, of course, Andrew Vaughn with a ground rule double after kind of a mess of a bottom of an 8th inning where Churio doubled, then got thrown out, and then they needed, who was it? Was it Perkins to steal second base, I believe?
Yep.
Get into second base there to allow Andrew Vaughn to score him with that ground rule double. Good morning and welcome in. It's the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. My name's Mitch Nelles. His name's Tommy Wirtz. Hi, Tommy.
Hey, how we doing, Mitch?
I'm doing great. I'm not, you are appropriately dressed for today. I would argue I'm also appropriately dressed because we have a U13 team from Wisconsin that just won its first game in the 13s World Series in California.
Nice.
The Whitefish Bay U13s ran through the Midwest Regional and are now at the Nationals in California. They don't get to play at Williamsport.
Williamsport.
But they get, it's in California, I believe.
Yeah. We did some decorating in here. It looks like
I see
too.
that. Look.
I know.
Who threw that paper mache up?
I'm gonna guess it was Jack. In some capacity, and then
is Jack our interior decorator?
And then there's some cheesehead up top there too. But yeah, it was kind of blank back here, so. I don't know if it really adds much to it because I'm standing directly in front of it.
But we know what it is.
Yeah, now you know.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Good morning and welcome in. It's the Mason Crosby Show. Mason Crosby currently on the course at Grand Geneva. It is the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame golf outing today. I know Mason's there. I know Jordy's there. I know Donald's there. I don't know who else is there. I feel like we should get a list and see who Mason could track down for us during the game.
Could we guess that probably Ernie and Joe are there?
Maybe. I would guess Joe's there. I'm not sure about Ernie. To stay from Thursday night all the way till Monday, that's kind of a long ask. Joe lives here.
Right.
Joe Thomas, of course, we're talking about. Mason's fellow inductees. I would guess no Ernie. I would guess yes Joe. And then I would guess Bonnie Blair's there because she's just amazing. All right, Tommy.
Yeah.
I know I tell you all the time, don't get old, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, nope, don't plan to. I'm good. I'm living the life right now. Does anyone over the age, she's over 60, right?
I think she's 61.
Does anyone over the age of 60 have more energy than Bonnie Blair? I mean, she is an absolute spitfire.
Yeah, I mean, Bonnie, we knew this about 5 seconds into meeting her, that it was she's awesome, she's the best, and yeah, she was awesome. It was great to talk with her again yesterday, and a fantastic person, like just to be around, and hilarious, and always wants to talk to everyone. Makes everyone feel like you get a piece of Bonnie while you're there too. Exactly. So yeah, she's awesome. She's the best.
Yeah, we had a great time at the Border Brouhaha with Mason Crosby and Jordy Nelson yesterday. You and Andy had a nice recap of that at the top of the 8 o'clock hour on Packet A Radio. We will get to that today. We're not going to lead with it, though, because as I was driving back from Beloit, I had the Brewers game on my phone, and I'm FanDuel apping it, and I'm watching what's happening. And Jackson Chourio leads off the 8th with a ground rule double. Mm-hmm. How many times do you have 2 ground rule doubles in one inning? That's kind of a weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and he had one earlier to get the first run of the game across.
It's a throwing error by the pitcher, Perez. And Chourio down the left field line, sinking fast. It is fair! And a big bounce. Haas winding it up. Here he comes! And he will score! Jackson Chourio with an RBI double.
And now he's got a 20-game hit streak going. We just picked the wrong guy to get to 20 games by the Border Brouhaha.
Because we had Turang and Yelich.
Yeah.
And both are very nice hitters. Both are integral pieces of this Milwaukee Brewers baseball team. But to get the tattoo for our friend Mr. Tommy Wirtz, we picked our because we were upset. Really, it's because Mason Crosby is obsessed with the number 2.
Right.
Because he was number 2. Bryce Turang's 2 and Yelich is 22. We should have gone 11, right?
1 plus 1.
1 plus 1
is 2.
Or, 22 divided by 2.
He is the 6th it is the 6th ever 7th player. Wow. Let me talk
Take
here,
a deep breath.
okay?
Yep.
So there has been
reading is hard.
6 different occurrences, 5 different players. He is now the 6th player to have a 20-game hitting streak in franchise history for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know Paul Molitor's number 1.
Yes.
Right? I mean,
he's got a shot to get to the second most in Brewers history this week.
Hold on. This week? Second most?
Second most. Be the second longest hit streak this week. If he
are
does
Kevin
well.
Seitzer or Jeff Cirillo on that list?
No, neither of those.
Neither of them, really. Darryl Hamilton?
Nope.
Man. I could have sworn they had. All right, who's you got the list there?
Second most is Davey May back in 1973. That is a 24-game hit streak.
And I think Davey May, if I'm wrong, you can correct me. I believe Davey May wore number 15, and so every May 15th, there's like a funny meme that it's May 15th. And it's May because his jersey was May 15th.
I get you. Okay. Ryan Braun in 2011 had a 23-game hit streak. Cecil Cooper, a 22-game hit streak in 1980. And the only person to have 2 20-game hit streaks for the Milwaukee Brewers, Corey Hart. 2007, he had a 22-game hit streak. In 2010, he had a 20-game hit streak.
I should remember those. I'm not really sure why I don't, but I never would have guessed Corey Hart was on that list.
Twice, too. Yeah.
And for as good as hitters as, again, Jeff Cirillo and Kevin Seitzer, like, for some reason I remember Kevin Seitzer might have had a streak on when he was with the Royals, because I feel like he had a 30-game hit streak at some point in his career.
I know that Jeff Cirillo as well, like I believe it's a minimum 1,000 plate appearances or something, is the Brewers' all-time leader in batting average.
That is correct.
Yep.
So I mean, he could just flat out hit. Wasn't a big power guy, but just found a way to hit the ball, got on base, and he was a nice player. We should get him on the show sometime. I think I have his number. He's still involved in baseball. I think he lives up in Seattle now. This is the Mason Crosby Show. We are presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of our Green Bay Packers. We are in the fan studios, and our fan studios, of course, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. And the day is here. Like, not a great weekend for our Milwaukee Brewers, losing 2 out of 3 to the Florida Marlins, who all of a sudden are playing decent baseball. The Cubs go to the south side, and they win 2 out of 3. So a weekend that started with the Brewers up by 1 brings us to today. The Milwaukee Brewers and the Chicago Cubs are tied for first place. They are tied for first place in the NL Central. They are tied for first place in the National League. They are tied half a game behind the Toronto Blue Jays. If you had the Toronto Blue Jays in your baseball bingo card, that would have been impressive. They are half a game behind the Toronto Blue Jays for best record in all of baseball. It is a jumble up there at the top. They are half a game behind Toronto. They are half a game ahead of the Mets. They are a game and a half ahead of the Dodgers, and they are 2 games ahead of the Phillies. So the Cubs, Brewers, Mets, Dodgers, Phillies is really a 5-team just mess of really good baseball teams, all separated by 2 games, as we are almost ready to turn the page to August, which means we can finally look at these sort of things. But we're not there yet. Today is Monday, the 28th. And that's important because Thursday, the 31st, is... Thursday the 31st, I'm a little jealous of Sparky. And I love Sparky, but I wouldn't really say I'm normally jealous of Sparky. Like, I love the Mason Crosby Show. I love Wisconsin Sports Daily. I think we provide great local programming for all of you listening in southeastern Wisconsin, all of you who are listening outside of southeastern Wisconsin who are looking for local coverage of your teams. But the reason I'm jealous of Sparky on Thursday specifically is because he gets the Major League Baseball trade deadline. Because the trade deadline, I want to say, is 4 Eastern, 3 Central. That's usually what it is. I remember when I had an afternoon show across the street, I would have MLB Network on, and Tim Kirkjian would be on, and Ken Rosenthal would be on, and whoever would be on, just like bunkered down, kind of like the way we see like a Shefty do his football stuff, or the way Woj used to do his NBA stuff. That MLB trade deadline would just be a blast. So all eyes are on the Brewers and the Cubs and the Mets and the Dodgers and the Phillies and the Yankees, the Mariners, all these teams that are on the cusp of making trades. We all know the Mariners made the trade for Naylor. The Mets made a trade for a different Soto. They now have 2 Sotos on their team. The middle reliever from the Orioles, who's a pretty big name that people were looking at. And so we will keep our eye on what that baseball trade deadline. But regardless of the baseball trade deadline, the series is here. The series is in Milwaukee. 6:40 tonight. 6:40 tomorrow night. 1:10 on Wednesday. It is our Milwaukee Brewers against the hated, the despicable, the disgusting, the disturbed Chicago Cubs. Tonight, it's Jacob Misiorowski and Matthew Boyd in one of the great pitching matchups. Tomorrow night, it's Quinn Priester and Colin Ray. Colin Ray, of course, on the Brewers the past few years, pitched very well for the Crew, has pitched well for the Cubs this year. And then on Wednesday, we've got Freddie, the ace Peralta, looking to rebound from a rough start Friday night against Miami. He'll be taking on Imanaga from the Cubs, who had been phenomenal until his start on Friday night, where he got absolutely destroyed by the Chicago White Sox.
I mean, the Brewers broke him earlier too, right?
They did a little bit, yeah.
So.
And then the White Sox unloaded on him. He was facing Adrian Hauser, though, who's the best pitcher in the history of Major League Baseball. So, like, he wasn't going to win anyway. But by the way, if you haven't been following Adrian Hauser on the Chicago White Sox this year, he is a prime candidate, I assume, to be traded in the next 3 days because he's 33 years old. He's got a sub-2 ERA for the Chicago White Sox. Somebody's going to pay the White Sox for a rental of Adrian Hauser. It's almost, I feel like in a way, poetically, it's almost too bad the Milwaukee Brewers don't need a starting pitcher. And boy, do they not need a starting pitcher. But like if Adrian Hauser came back, this version of Adrian Hauser, and just dominated for the Brewers the last 2 months of the year, somebody's going to get a really good starter, assuming that somebody pays the White Sox for Adrian Hauser. But back to the series. By Wednesday, I assume by 4 o'clock, maybe 4:30, but I assume by 4 o'clock. The way, games are 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 40 minutes. By Wednesday, 4-ish, there will be a team alone in the NL Central standings. There will be a team atop of the standings in the NL Central. So I have put it in on my Twitter and on my Facebook. I don't know if the fan Milwaukee reposted my poll or not, but we could definitely have Tommy do that. I put out, because I tagged fan Milwaukee, and I think I tagged you in that one as well, Tommy. I may have also tagged Mason in it because, he gets to golf and we don't, and it's cool. Like, I mean, it's fun. Tommy, if you were signed up for a golf outing, Would you golf or would you just like walk the course and have a couple bevies? A couple pops?
I mean, I can.
You golf? You gonna?
Yeah, I would put it out there. Yeah, I would try to golf.
Because I'm 100%. I'm not even picking up a stick. I might putt. If somebody wants me to putt, if I'm in a scramble, I'll do some putting, but that's it. And I'm not even a big drinker, so it's not like I'm getting loaded or anything. I'll have a drink or two. But I would just walk the course. Like, I think that would be fun. Maybe not in 102 weather, like while you're trying to play a softball game, but it's going to be a scorcher down there again today. High of 88 today, I believe, in southeastern Wisconsin. At least that's what it was in Whitefish Bay when I looked it up this morning. Our weather report here on the Mason Crosby Show. It's already 81 here in Hales Corners. It's going to get up to 92. There's a heat advisory until tonight at 8 o'clock. So it's going to be another scorcher out there, so be careful of that. What are your predictions, Brewers fans? The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250 as we look at this series, Brewers and Cubs. Brewers sweep, Cubs sweep. Does one of the teams win the series 2-1? One of the beautiful things is we know there can't be a rainout. We know all 3 games are going to be played as opposed to when we go to Chicago, because we'll see that about a month from now, a little bit less than a month, when the Brewers go down to Chicago and have to play 5 games in 4 days because of that. So what is your prediction? I've got that poll up on Twitter. We will check our poll results, and we will keep you updated on that. So right now, the poll results, as you are predicting the series, I've got 40% of us predicting Brewers win 2-1. I've got 37% predicting the Cubs win 2-1. I've got 18% Brewers sweep, and I've got 4% Cubs sweep. So overall, we're at about 59% Brewers win the series and 41% Cubs win the series, which you would expect with a poll that's thrown out in Milwaukee amongst Brewers fans. You might even expect it to be a little bit higher for our Brewers fans. So 59-41 is still like within that range of could go 50-50. I think that's how we feel about this series, right? Like this series could go in any direction. I don't know that we can accurately predict it.
Yeah, I will say this though, that the 3-headed monster of Ms. Priester Peralta is who I would like to see pitch against the Chicago Cubs. Mm-hmm. I think those are the 3 that I would love to go see out there. I know Priester's probably by default the 5 in the rotation right now.
But he hasn't been pitching like one, Tommy.
But he's just been incredible since the start of June. You know, he's undefeated. They're 9-0 in his starts, and he is 7-0 since the beginning of June right now. Priester's just been unreal, and easily, I think he's the second best story on the team after Jacob Mizorowski right now. Because if Quinn Priester was pitching like this and Mizorowski hadn't been called up all year, he would have a lot of headlines, I think, pointed his direction, too, because the Brewers knew that this guy was pretty much given up on. They gave up a pretty solid prospect to get him in Yoferi Rodriguez. That was, I believe, number 7 at the time in their system, and a lot of people were very critical of that move, myself included even. I think that I had my doubts about it, but now the Brewers continue to prove if they're going to go out and grab a pitcher, it's because they see something and they know that they have something they have an opportunity to change him. And we're going to talk to Drew Wagner again at 10 o'clock today. But he's talked about it, how the Brewers had at the beginning of the year a lot of different pitchers figuring it out on the fly as the season has gone on. I don't know if I can remember another example of a Quinn Priester-esque situation where they have a young guy just figuring it out because he has to at the major league level. He had one option left. They didn't have to use it. They're not going to use it. And remember, this Cubs game was the last time we saw Quinn Priester really get blown up. This was the Tyler Alexander opener, and Quinn Priester had to come in and just wear it on the chin after all of it.
And I had to sit there with Jay Saunders from Potawatomi, who's a Cubs fan.
Yeah, and so now he gets the opportunity to go out there, prove himself against these Cubs, because since he's taken on Chicago and had that blow-up appearance, he's been one of the best pitchers in the game.
I feel like I need to take a little umbrage with something you just said. I'm gonna be like an annoying. I don't know what I'm gonna be for a second. You said that By the way, this is the Mason Crosby Show. Mitch Nelles, Tommy Wirtz with you. 414-677-1250 is the Nick Layloff fan talk and text line. You can call in your predictions for the Brewers Cup Series. You can also text them in what you think will happen. You said that you think that besides Mizorowski, Priester would be the best series would be the best story, right?
I think so,
and
yeah.
my quibble with you is I think Mizorowski's the biggest story. I think Priester might be the best story. Like, I don't know that Mizorowski's the best story. And I think the way I delineate that is like big locally, but also big nationally. No one nationally is talking about Quinn Priester. No one even knows it. No one's even heard of Quinn Priester.
Mm-hmm.
But I think locally that, like, if you're a hardcore Brewers fan, the fact that this guy has shown up, gone 9-2 with a 3.28 ERA. His starter as an ERA is way sub 3, is like in the mid 2s. And he just looks to be getting better. The way he pitched against the Dodgers out of the All-Star break, like, he just seems to be getting better. And the way he pitched against the Mariners, he just seems to be getting stronger and better as the season goes on. Like, I think across the board, we are underplaying how great a story Quinn Priester. You know, you get Chad Patrick come up, and he pitches really well for a while, and then maybe there's a bump in the road, but he's pitching okay. Logan Henderson comes up, and Logan Henderson had 3 great starts. Like, he did not struggle at all. He looked like he belonged immediately, but they don't have a spot for him, and partly because of Quinn Priester, and because they felt like they didn't want to ruin that option, and they didn't want to send him down. But Quinn Priester has responded in a way that is just and I just want Brewers fans to just like recognize that, like, when special seasons happen, it's not because your all-stars are all-stars, because you expect your all-stars to be all-stars. When special seasons happen, it's because someone comes out of nowhere. And right now, it's still July 28th. We still got 2+ months. We're going to have some hitters who still come out of nowhere or surprise us. We've seen what Collins and Durbin have done, but Quinn Priester has come out of nowhere and made this team special.
Yeah, and Quinn Priester has been a stud, like I said, since the June 4th outing. If you just go from that beginning time there, he was 2-2 heading into that outing. It was the 9-1 victory on June 4th against the Cincinnati Reds. And since that moment, he's averaging 5.7 innings a start. His ERA is sub 3, and the team is 9-0 in those games, and he's 7-0 in decisions in that time too. And that's since June. I mean, we're 2 months in now, and 9 outings for Quinn Priester. I don't know. Maybe I still think by default, the better story has to be Jacob Mizorowski, just because of the talent too. Like, Quinn Priester is going out there and doing everything the exact opposite of Jacob Mizorowski, I think, at this point, too. He's not going to blow anything really by you. He's trying to make contact with your bat and make you miss. And he's done a phenomenal job.
Striking more people out recently. That's like, and I think that's been a surprise too. Because you're right, the first half of the season, everything was pitched to contact, and now all of a sudden, like, he needs a big strikeout against the Dodgers or the Mariners last week, and he got it.
Yeah,
it's like, what is happening here?
He's a stud right now, and he might be like I said, he might be my second favorite pitcher to just watch as a fan as well too, for the Brewers. And I love the monster that is Miz Priester Peralta to take on Chicago.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. We've got some people commenting on Twitter and on Facebook about this series. Adam writes in, 2-1 Brewers win the series. Let's go. Joseph says Brewers 2-1 series win. So we've got a lot of people thinking, a lot of people optimistic. Now the Brewers are at home. And so when you're at home, and like Tommy said, you couldn't ask for 3 better starters to be starting the series. And to be
Freddie at home this year has also been crazy. If you didn't know that, Freddie Peralta at home and on the road is a completely different pitcher this year. He's got a 1.59 ERA at home.
Wait, so he's got a 1.59 ERA at home even after the Marlins game? Because he didn't give up the runs in the Marlins game.
The Marlins game, he gave up 1 run.
1 run in 5 innings. That's right, because it was the with Ashby, right? Gave up the runs, I think, on
yes,
Friday.
Yes. Let me double check it here, but I have the splits right here. He's just been phenomenal at home at American Family Field specifically. It's a 1.55 ERA at home actually, with 63 innings of work, and his opponents are hitting just 202 in those games with a .96 WHIP.
We just need, I love that .96 whip. We need that to continue. We need him to find a way to be a little more economical with those pitches. It's the one thing that kept Freddie Peralta from being an ace before this year. And he's done it pretty well this year. Obviously, against the Marlins, he wasn't. He was up to, 98 pitches in 5 innings or whatever it was. And so we will keep our eye on that. We are also keeping our eye 90 miles to the north. Our Green Bay Packers are putting on pads for the first time this season, this training camp today, and I think everything changes. I think now it counts. I know we've talked about what's gone on with, the 2-minute drills and this and that, and we're going to get into all that next. But I really believe that training camp starts when pads go on because, I don't, but anybody could, not anybody, but guys can look good just going out there and running. And I think it's a whole different animal when you put pads on and then who really sets themselves apart. So let's discuss that. Let's talk about the cornerbacks and the defense. Drew Wagner will join us at 10 o'clock. In the 10 o'clock hour, we've got some Aaron Rodgers sound. We've got some J.J. Watt news to get to. And, of course, we will get to Thunder Watch. Tommy, you missed Thunder Watch last week. And so I will update you on what Sparky and I agreed upon last week. And then we will update our Thunder Watch at the end of the show. And, of course, Mason Crosby, well, he's at Grand Geneva. If you want to go. I don't think they have any more room for the golf outing, but they should be getting underway right now. I think 9:30 was tee off. So if you are 4 minutes or less away from Grand Geneva, and you got a nice little donation to the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame, they could probably get you out there. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Our studios are powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I haven't heard this song forever. I like this one. I think, you know what? If you found this song on your own, Tommy, you'd be like, all right, that's a decent song. I feel like it has a strike against it because it's in the random fan bumps.
I have a feeling like it just sounds like Dracula is singing during this.
Yeah, I think that's part of the vibe.
Yeah.
All right, what you
I like the guitar here.
Yeah.
Or synthesizer, whatever it might be.
One of those synthesizer guitars from the 80s.
Okay. Yeah, right.
All right, I have an AV. This is the Mason Crosby Show. We're presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Did you ever see Revenge of the Nerds?
No, never fully through, no.
Okay. Yeah. And that doesn't surprise me. All right, Hector Gomez has 109,000 followers on Twitter. I don't know anyone my age, guys especially, who haven't seen Revenge of the Nerds. And I wonder what age, I assume Mason and everyone his age have seen Revenge of the Nerds. I wonder it is amazingly inappropriate. It is everything that's you could never make that movie now. But I just wonder, who has seen it, what that age is. Have you seen, if you've seen it on cable, it is not Revenge of the Nerds. That is not the version of Revenge of the Nerds.
Right.
But I remember the first time I saw it when I was 12. I think we watched it 7 times in one weekend. We had it just on the VCR tape, and we just could not stop watching it over and over. And it does have a lot of lines that are great, iconic lines, even with all of its inappropriateness. All right, Hector Gomez is a Major League Baseball insider from the Dominican Republic. Is that right? And he writes in all caps 12 hours ago, source, the Brewers emerge now as a top suitor for Diamondbacks third base, not the top suitor, a top suitor for Diamondbacks third baseman all-star Eugenio Suarez. Prospects like Logan Henderson, right-handed pitcher Brett Witkowski, and second baseman Josh Adamczewski are involved in the proposed trade. Mariners, Cubs, and Phillies still showing a lot of interest in him. And that's he works for Z104 Digital, which I assume is a media company, I'm guessing in Dominican Republic, excuse me. There's a source that says the Brewers are involved in talks. I don't think that means they're the leader. They are a top suitor, along with the Cubs and the Phillies and the Mariners. How do you feel? And we're going to get to the Packers in a second. Tommy, how do you feel whether the Brewers get Suarez or not? How do you feel about the fact that they are being mentioned as a top suitor for Suarez?
I think that's sufficient, right? They have to put their name in the category now. I don't hate the trade. I don't love the trade proposal that we're seeing here from Hector Gomez. I do understand that Suarez is, has a high asking price. I just don't like the idea of half-season rental for Logan Henderson.
Okay.
To be honest. And it's strictly that. Maybe Suarez. And you know what? If the Brewers were able to make it work into a World Series run, then it would be totally worth it. 100%. But the uncertainty behind that, you need Suarez to be available and be as hot as he has been so far this year. I saw a number that he actually has done really bad at hitting fastballs this year. I'll see if I can find the number before I make any more claims about it. But I like Logan Henderson as a prospect, man, and he's the number 6 prospect in the Brewers organization, so at least they don't have to get any of the top 5 out from there. But I still think that when Jacob Mizorowski is your top pitching prospect, they're obviously not going to move on from him. Logan Henderson's the next guy they're going to bring up. I'm skeptical about the move.
Okay. And mostly Logan Henderson.
Right, yeah. Witkowski's going to be pretty solid, too, and Adamczewski was a late riser this year. He's been in that Carolina team that's been just absolutely insane for the Mudcats. But, yeah, I don't know. I think that if that is the deal, I'm not upset about it, but I would not be surprised if in a couple of years, then you're like, why the hell did we make this move?
Right. This is the Mason Crosby Show. We are presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. And it is Monday. We've mentioned this. It is Monday, July 28th. The trade deadline is July 31st. It is 3 days away. We will keep all eyes and ears open. I know that as per what the Brewers usually do, I expect a middle infielder, a backup middle infielder, and I expect a bullpen arm. Those are the two moves I expect for the Brewers to make. If they make more than that, I will be happy, but I will also be a little skeptical about what they have to give up in order to get any top-line talent like Suarez. 920 writes into the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Brewers to get sweep. Now, does that mean they're getting the sweep, or did he mean to write swept? I hope it means Brewers to get the sweep.
Okay.
I would guess that's what that vote means, but who knows? Who knows? Did you guys read the tweet about your T-Rex story, by the way?
No, I did not.
Okay, all right. That was a great story, though. Andy told
that Andy was talking about
Rashawn Gary running down Jaden Reed, and he just looked like the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, like chasing people. That's how fast and how much momentum Rashawn Gary. On a scale of 1 to 10, do you have faith that Rashawn Gary is going to be like all pro? He's just going to explode this year. He's gonna
0.
Double digit. Over under.
He's going to finish with 7.5 sacks he does every year.
Over under 7.5 sacks.
Yeah, it's a push. It's totally a push.
You can't pick push.
He's going to have 7.51 sacks this year. Somehow.
That's over.
Yeah, somehow he'll be the first guy to do that. That's what he does every season. He'll have 2.5 in a game, and then he'll have 5 other games he gets a sack this year.
Yeah, and when he has those 2.5, everyone will go nuts.
Right. It's that's why you pay the man.
Look how good he is.
Right.
Yeah, I tend to completely agree with you. Speaking of our Green Bay Packers, training camp underway. All sorts of stuff going on with our Packers and with media availability. I believe that Matt LaFleur is speaking today at 9:50. So he's speaking in just about 10, 15 minutes. Practice then starts at 10:30, and so we'll see what Matt LaFleur has to say. But I know that there was a little talk over the weekend about a Mr. Hobbs being a little too aggressive and a little too violent, and that Matt LaFleur came out and said that, like, nothing malicious, like he's not trying to hurt guys, but there was a play over the middle. Was it Wicks? Mm-hmm. That, like, he kind of just, like, blew him up. And got there early, probably, and got a little talking to from Mr. LaFleur. And I know, again, we talked about this a little bit in the last segment. There's no pads yet, all right? There's no pads. It's shells, it's helmets. The pads go on today. So it's like, what aggressiveness are we really talking about here? But I kind of like it. I kind of like aggression. I don't want to get anybody hurt. I don't want to see anybody hurt. I don't want guys hurting their own teammates. I don't want anybody getting hurt. Like, even when they do the practices with the other teams. Like, is it wrong that I've been raised in a society that I want to see the fights, but I don't want to see people hurt? I don't know if that's right or wrong. I don't know how I feel about that nowadays. Like, we're a little kinder and we're a little gentler and we're trying to be and it's tough to be sometimes, but I kind of, I don't want to hear that my cornerback is laying up before the opportunity to make a play. Like, I want him to make plays, and if that means he has to play with a little bit of aggression, again, I don't want to see people hurt. I don't want to cheer for a guy who's headhunting. Like, I don't want a headhunter, but a little aggression, a little fire, a little vim and vigor. I'm into that. And I think Andy said this last week. And maybe LaFleur said it or Goody said it or something, that, like, Packers fans, you're going to like Nate Hobbs. Tommy, I get the feeling that we're going to like Nate Hobbs. Do you, are you on board with, like, I mean, we don't know him well, right? We don't know him that well yet.
Sure.
But are you open to the opportunity of liking Nate Hobbs?
Yeah, I actually think that would be a great question for the people, is just how confident are you in the cornerback room for the Packers after the loss of Jair this year? And
I don't even think you throw in the loss of Jair.
I think you do. I think that
really?
a lot of people thought Jair
know.
Alexander was going to be on the team. Think that many people. What else is the bigger question mark?
Then they're not good listeners.
What else is the biggest question mark?
We knew Jair wasn't coming back.
We thought we knew, and then we thought we got roped back into him.
I know, but that's like being obsessed with the wrong thing. Like, Jair's gone.
There was reporting that Jair Alexander was discussing with the Packers. That's not obsession when there was reporting on it.
No, but then when we found out that the report was actually like the Packers were going to pay him nothing and like everything was going to be in bonuses and incentives and that it was never a real offer. You're right. There were discussions. They were never done, to no credit to the Packers, they were never done like with an open hand. They were never done with an open mind. There was never a time that the Packers were actually looking to bring Jair back, unless Jair was going to 100% devalue himself, which maybe he should have if he wanted to stay, but I don't think it was ever going to happen. I think the question is about the cornerback room, regardless of Jair. Like, I think it's how confident are you in the cornerback room? Knowing that it's Keyshawn, that it's Hobbs, that it's Valentine, and that it's like, well, now we get reports that Kalen King is impressing. But we still have, like, I think Keyshawn's still a question mark. I think Hobbs is still a question mark. I think Valentine, I think they're all question marks.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
And so I think this is a 2025 question that, like, how confident are you in this room? Jair's not here. Jair's not walking through that door. Jair's not coming back. He's on another team. He's gone. Whether that was a real opportunity or not for him to come back, could the Packers have brought him back? Absolutely, they could have. If they had offered him what he wanted, and he would have taken a pay cut. He just wasn't going to take an all cut. But I just think is the cornerback position the major deficiency that the Packers have going into 25? Is the cornerback room, is that what's going to keep them from winning the North, from finishing with the top wild card and getting a home game in the playoffs? Is the cornerback room keeping the Packers from being a great team? Because we all agree they're a good team, right?
Sure.
Packers are a good team?
Yeah, they're a good team.
Yeah. Is the cornerback room, is that what's keeping them from being great?
I think it's just obviously the biggest question for the Packers heading into 2025. I think that though that was the deficiency last year at times, specifically boundary corner. Yep. I think that with the wide receivers, that was probably the bigger concern last year, that was addressed in the offseason. And Nate Hobbs was addressing the cornerback problem from a season ago, but how confident are you that Nate Hobbs can be a boundary corner for this team? I think that we've seen a lot more Javon Bullard in the nickel for the Packers in training camp. He played a lot of that last year, so I do believe that now when you mention the cornerback room, you probably have to put Javon Bullard's name in there because it makes the most sense. If he's going to play nickel corner, he's not a safety. Can he play safety?
Now,
sure.
Does that mean he has passed Valentine?
No, I think that he or
that's the conversation though, right?
Maybe it does. Maybe it means he's past Valentine, but I think we saw last year a lot with the Packers that Evan Williams and Javon Bullard both looked better when they were on the field together. If one was off the field, I think you could see those players get exposed, whether that meant, Evan Williams needed Javon Bullard on the field to be a better safety, or Javon Bullard plays a better nickel corner than he does as a strong safety. I think that the Packers have a lot of question marks in the defensive back room still because they're just so uncertain about those positions. But I do think that Andy says that we'll play some of Andy's sound from the show too, that the defense looks pretty impressive right now. And I do have a lot of faith in Jeff Hafley.
Yeah. I mean, Jeff Hafley did nothing but impress last year. And now he's got another year under his, the guys have another year under Jeff to have learned and to play his defense. I think again, one of the main guys we look to with that is Kenny Clark, and like if he's healthy, we expect to see a different Kenny Clark. I think we still question the pass rush, and so there's lots of questions on that defense. But it's certainly, after years of being told the Packers defense was going to be better, and every year not being better, last year we saw it finally be better. And so I think that there should be optimism for whatever Jeff Hafley puts together. Let's take a break here. I do want to jump in for just a couple minutes. If we can, I'm going to throw LaFleur up if he actually starts on time. If he doesn't, we're going to go to some Andy Herman sound, like you said, Tommy, about the defense. Because, listen, Jeff Hafley did it 1 year, and immediately after doing it for 1 year, already got head coaching. Already got people out. With head coaching interviews, and his star is certainly on the rise. If he can get this defense to the level we all want it to get to, it'll mean very, very good things for our Green Bay Packers. This is the Mason. So to you, I'll throw it out. Like, is the cornerback room the biggest concern? And if it's not, what room is? What position is your biggest concern for our Green Bay Packers? 414-677-1250, the Nick Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon. I think we all know this one. Matt LaFleur is at the podium right now. Let's go to Matt.
Back into things. He practiced a little bit yesterday.
No, yeah, I mean, he's a vet, and we want to make sure that he doesn't, set himself back. So there's a lot of communication going on in terms of how he's feeling and the plan we have for him. So I'd say it's going to be pretty fluid.
What did you learn about some of those young? Again, I realize O-line play this time of year or the last few days doesn't mean a whole lot. But did you know anything about those young guys who've had to step into those spots?
I think we're about to learn about all these guys. Today's going to be great. First day of pads. It's going to be hot. So hopefully we get to see these guys strain a little bit.
Sensing the guys are ready, they're eager to kind of put the pads on and play more real football.
I know I am. I can't speak for everybody else, but yeah, it's exciting to me.
Yeah, I know mostly Elton's been working at tackle. But as you go along, do you want to see a little bit more of him at guard? Is that a position where you could possibly?
Yeah, I think he's got the talent to do that. So we'll just we want to try to get him a little bit more settled, I would say, on the perimeter at tackle, and just take it in stride.
Matt, what happened on the interception that Jordan threw to Hopper yesterday? I mean, it felt really odd to see him throw into a sea of defensive players.
Bad decision. So when he made the decision to throw the ball, Hopper had his back turned and he was running. And obviously, I just think it goes to, you got to see out in front. And, I think many quarterbacks around the league are going to be a little bit more aggressive right now in terms of some of their decisions that they're going to make. And Hop did a nice job of getting his eyes back, and it was a gift.
Are you okay with quarterbacks making a little bit more aggressive decisions this time of year, or do you want them to practice what they're going to do in games?
No, I definitely want them to, make smart decisions, but sometimes in terms of like fitting into tight windows, I would say I'd be okay with. I think that one, I think Jordan would admit that he'd like to have that one back.
With Jordan, is there anything this time of year that there is for you to still even learn about him, or do those lessons of him taking the next step, continue to develop, do those really come once the season begins?
Well, I think it's just it's everybody learning one another. I mean, it's a new year, and you got to develop that connection amongst all the groups, and so I think there's always something to learn from, and the evolution of the offense, where it's going to go, and that's why I don't like to over-plan exactly what we're going to be doing, because I think there's a natural evolution that occurs, and if you're just, hey, this is what we're going to be, I think you can kind of get yourself in some bad situations.
Matt, I have a question about that. It's like kind of a 30,000-foot not game plan question, but as far as like your offensive identity and what you want to be, it seems like around the league, a lot of offenses are starting to play 4 downs a whole lot more. As far as like if it's 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 10, you're traditionally on the defensive side, you're guarding the sticks, but it seems like there's a creeping sense of, okay, we'll get to 4th and 2 rather than try and get to 1st down and 3rd down. Is that something you've noticed? Is that something you've talked about at all? And is that something you've talked to Hafley about at all as far as opponents?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys, did you watch the quarterback deal on Netflix? And they were talking about kind of like going into our game with Detroit and how it was going to be 4 down the whole game. And so I do think that's a good example of maybe each game might have a different kind of thought process that you go into in regards to what you think you need to do to win the game. And certainly they were down a lot of defensive players, so that factored into their mindset. I do think analytics has had a huge influence on what people do and being a little bit more aggressive, especially in those shorter yardage situations. If you can get to that midfield area and it's 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, I think you're more apt to go for it.
Back to Hopper collectively this offseason, what have you seen from him?
Yeah, he's done a nice job. I think he's definitely taken a step in the right direction. Now we're out of underwear and we're into full pads, so you got to do it now, because this is, I think you get a better evaluation, a better sense of how these guys are going to perform when you're actually playing football. You're thudding up, you're fitting blocks, you got to get off blocks, all that.
Can you expect to see Quay Walker do that?
Just say he'll be the same.
Can you learn anything from the quarterback shows, Hard Knocks, those sort of things that are actually any sort of competitive advantage for you as you go through those?
Yeah, I think there's always some nuggets that you can take.
Is that why you don't ever want to do them?
Who said that?
You did.
Oh, I did. Okay, forgot. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those, but it is what it is.
If, assuming, Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper are starting inside guys, would McDuffie compete for the strong side position? Is that a position he could play, or is he more back up at those other two?
Well, I think I think all those guys, I think the more you know, the more versatile you become. I think a lot of it could depend upon what type of plan we're going to have for that game as well. And I think there's other guys that can certainly do it.
Yeah, are those other guys interchangeable? So if you decided maybe Cooper could play Sam if you had to? Or?
Yeah, I think it's just we'll see where they are in terms of their knowledge base, but yeah, I would say that they all definitely have the talent to do that.
You're listening to Matt LaFleur, head coach of our Green Bay Packers. His daily presser, he speaks most days before practice gets underway. A couple things that he talked about before we got back from break. He talked about here. Let's see. I have the wrong. Okay, so he talked about the question about wearing pads and like that the fact that they had to remind guys like what speed to go at and what it means to put pads on, because they've been running through with the shells, and it's a different animal when you're wearing pads. And so just to keep that in mind, again, nobody's looking to get hurt. Guys are looking to make hits, and so it's gonna feel different wearing pads. Make sure you pace yourself. Make sure you know what you're doing. He was asked about Malik Heath, and he basically just gave a form answer of like, we like Malik. Malik's doing it. He's just got to keep doing his stuff. It's a crowded wide receiver room. He's got to keep doing what he's doing. And then are any of the PUP guys coming off today? And he said Elton. So Elton Jenkins will be limited today, but Elton Jenkins will be at practice today and will be practicing. Isn't a full go with his back, or as Andy would say, his bank injury. But he will be ready to go. Tommy, anything jump out to you from what Coach had to say? To me, it seemed like mostly it was Coach speak, kind of some funny stuff there about like him not wanting to be on the TV shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, Matt LaFleur, it doesn't feel like gives this always a whole lot all the time. But yeah, I think that he knows that the pads come on today, and this is a little bit more of an exciting day because you get to see that physicality that that people it draws people to football. Mm-hmm. And we won't have those instances of, hey, Nate, that was maybe going a little too hard against Dontavian Wicks when the pads come on today.
Right. Yeah. So I think it's I think we're all ready for today, right? I think the players are ready. I know the coach is ready. I mean, that's one thing he said is like, he can finally see what his team looks like, because over the past few days, it's like, it's kind of like if you brought your baseball team together for pitchers and catchers and you just played home run derby all the time. Like, you have no idea what your team looks like if they're just playing home run derby all the time. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of those Green Bay Packers. We are in the fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, where there's a rumor there could be appearance this evening. We will see. We will see how that goes, and if we can, how long of a nap Mason Crosby needs after his golfing in an absolute swamp out there of humidity and heat, second day in a row in the full sun. Drew Wagner, Forbes Sports baseball Brewers beat reporter, our baseball insider, will join us next to preview Brewers Cubs best of 3 ding ding next on the Mason Crosby Show.
What's the latest on the crew? Let's go inside the clubhouse with Drew Wagner of Forbes Sports on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nelles. Brought to you by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Inside the clubhouse is brought to you by Focus Baseball, because fundamental development starts with focus. Find them at focusbaseball.com.
This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. I'm Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. Mason is golfing. It's the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame golf outing down in Grand Geneva today. Joining us on Inside the Clubhouse, our baseball insider, Drew Wagner. Hey, Drew.
Good morning.
How are you, my friend? How was your weekend?
It was very good. Very good.
Did you melt in the heat at all, or were you able to stay like you normally do, like the other side of the pillow, stay cool?
I had to use the spatula to remove myself from my truck seat.
Yep.
Yesterday.
Yep.
It was a scorcher. But yeah, we're staying cool.
Nice.
We're staying cool. We're crushing a hotel breakfast. Life is good.
Crushing hotel breakfast. May I ask where you are, or is that top secret?
I am in the exotic, romantic, tropical Wisconsin Dells.
Oh, very nice.
Came up for a little musical performance last night.
Very cool. You deserve it. That's awesome. Well, enjoy that. Hopefully we won't take up too much of your time, but let's start with the weekend that was. And maybe I wasn't so connected this weekend because I feel like I watched some of the games and I was on Twitter a little bit, but I kind of felt like you losing 2 out of 3 to the Marlins. Nobody wants to lose 2 out of 3 to the Marlins, but I did not get the feeling from Brewers Nation that sky was falling, as I feel like Brewers fans are sometimes want to do. And I'm sure there was a minority of people who were absolutely, destroyed at the fact that the Marlins came into Milwaukee and won 2 out of 3. But I feel like I didn't like how the losses went. I didn't like some of the implosions by the bullpen. But I didn't feel like it was a sky is falling moment either. What did you take away from that weekend?
No, it kind of was the Brewers got a taste of their own medicine. The Marlins played the kind of game that the Brewers have been playing against teams now all season long. I think there's baseball kind of evening itself out. You take 6 from the Dodgers, chances are the baseball gods are going to hand it to you against a lesser team. That's just how it goes. I was a little surprised. I thought Brewers Nation actually handled it rather well, so I'm guessing they were probably just really hydrated and not paying too much attention. The games were kind of lackluster until yesterday. There wasn't a lot of energy, wasn't a lot of juice to it. But yeah, you salvage it, you avoid the split, and you come into today tied up. So it's no harm, no foul.
Well, and I think that's part of it as well, is that the Brewers came into the weekend a game up on the Cubs, and they enter this series tied. It's not like even losing 2 out of 3 because the Cubs didn't sweep the White Sox. The Brewers didn't enter the series a game down. I think if they'd entered a game down, it would have felt a little bit different. But what, as we look at that, I also think a lot of people were just already thinking about the Cubs. Like it wouldn't have mattered what the Brewers did against the Marlins. Yeah, if they had lost yesterday, it would have been even worse. But I think so many people, like fans, hopefully not players, were just looking ahead to this series.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think everyone was, and I think there was probably a little bit of that on the field too. And how do you not? The Brewers have been pretty good about compartmentalizing their task every night. But I listen, it's human nature. You're going to look ahead. You know that's looming there. You know the situation in hand. You know where you're at. So maybe there was a little bit, and maybe there was some of that in the stands too. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to avoid that gorilla in the room when it's just sitting there looming at you, and you know what's coming Monday night.
Let's avoid the gorilla for one more question. What does it say about guys like Blake Perkins and Andrew Vaughn, who came through with the big hits yesterday? Like, I know Andrew Vaughn came up and was the second coming of George Herman, Babe Ruth. But I keep waiting for like this year's Chicago White Sox Andrew Vaughn to show up. And we've seen that. Like there have been numerous games where he's come up with big at-bats at the end of the game and didn't come through and didn't get a big hit just because we got so used to him doing it his first 6 games here. So what does it mean that like he comes through with that big hit in the 8th? Perkins, who his first couple of games struck out, 2/3 of the time, comes up with the big at-bat in the 9th. That again, it's not the big names, it's everybody contributing.
That's the key to this team. You need to get those contributions from everybody in the order to make this offense work, to make this lineup work, to make this team work. It is a true 1 through 26. So, yeah, it's silly to expect Vaughn to come up big every time he steps in the box. But more often than not, when they needed him to, he's gotten the job done. And then for Perkins yesterday to deliver that hit, I mean, that was a huge moment for him. Perk's a good guy. He's been through a lot this year. That was a redeeming moment, and you had to be happy to see that.
Drew Wagner joining us on the Mason Crosby Show. Of course, he is on the Fan Guest Hotline powered by Gruber Law. So now we turn our attention to the Chicago Cubs. The Brewers and Cubs tied for the best record in the NL Central. They are tied for the best record in the National League. They are tied half a game behind the Toronto Blue Jays. And if you look at the National League standings, it is a crazy mess of Cubs, Brewers, Mets, Dodgers, Phillies, all 2 games apart. Big picture-wise, can a series on July 28th, 29th, and 30th, not even getting to August yet, not even getting to the trade deadline yet, how important can a series like this be?
This is a really important series. It's not going to determine the division. It's not going to, seal a fate. But you're playing the team that you're in it with. You're coming up on the deadline. There is a lot at stake here. You're not going to get many chances yet. You have the big 5-game series, obviously, but this is your last chance to take care of business at home against these guys. And you want to come out strong. You didn't do so well against them the last time they were here in town. You want to play it well. You want to go into this weekend riding high. You want to make it pretty clear what the front office needs to or doesn't need to do. And you want to create some separation. You want to put yourself out front and make the Cubs be the team chasing you. You want to give yourself basically a little margin for error. And coming away with a victory in this series would go a long way towards that.
And we start right away with it with the 2 all-star pitchers, Matthew Boyd, who was named an all-star, then was replaced by Jacob Mizorowski, who pitched in the all-star game. Matthew Boyd's been absolutely fantastic this year. What do you expect from him? And I'm guessing you expect a longer leash for Mizorowski than he had in Seattle. And part of the reason he only pitched 3 2/3 in Seattle was because they wanted him to go a little bit longer if he's pitching well tonight.
Yeah, I definitely think that's part of the case. I think he's going to have a longer leash than he did his last time out. I think it should be a great atmosphere for starters. I mean, this is probably going to be the most lit this stadium has been in its 25 years. I am going to guess the hydration level of the crowd today is going to be extremely high.
Let's go.
Which is good.
Let's go.
It's going to be very hot out there. So, stay hydrated, folks.
Stay hydrated, my friends.
Yeah. I think it's going to be buzzing tonight. 2 incredibly good pitchers. I think it's going to be. Now, that said, again, baseball has a way of messing with you. You go in there expecting a pitcher's duel, and it could end up being like a 13-10 slugfest with both guys failing to get out of the 4th inning. That's kind of how it goes. And we kind of saw that with Miz and Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens got kind of run early for the first time ever. You expect one thing, and then you get the exact opposite. But on paper, it should be an absolutely incredible game tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. Tomorrow night, it's Quinn Priester and Colin Ray, our good friend Colin, who's pitched well. I wouldn't say he's just done what he's done Colin Ray things. He just a steady arm in that rotation. And then, of course, we've got Freddie going on Wednesday. If you were to pick the 3 starters for this series, and granted, we know that the Brewers right now go 5 deep, and there's nothing wrong. It's no slight on Quintana and Woody. But these 3 guys going, Miz, Priester, and Freddie, that is I'll put those three up against anybody in Major League Baseball right now.
I mean, I think this is exactly why they set the rotation up the way they did coming out of the break, was to line these three guys up for this series. Maybe you wanted to see Woody in one of those games. You can't have it all. But I think when they looked at the calendar and they were looking at charting it out, I think they set it up so these three guys were going in this series, and that makes total sense. You want to have your best pitchers going on in your biggest games.
No doubt about it. And speaking of that, and Tommy and I can't stop talking about Quinn Priester. Just the job he's done. And honestly, since the All-Star, the 2 starts since the All-Star break, it almost looks like he's a different pitcher. Like, he looks better. He looks stronger. He's challenging. He's getting more strikeouts. Like, when he needed a strikeout against the Dodgers or Mariners in LA and in Seattle, he got that strikeout. As much as he pitched to contact the first half of the year, like, he's 9-2. His ERA as a starter is like 2.5. What? Like, how does this even happen? That this ends up being this guy where, like, we saw what Chad Patrick did to start the year. We saw what Logan Henderson did in his 3 starts up here. And Quinn Priester just keeps getting it done every 5th day.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling at this point, that Brewers devil magic when it comes to pitchers. The guy is incredible. He has so many different ways to get you out now. You're right. He was pitching to contact more often than not in the first half. Now the guys are kind of picking up on him. There's a book out on him. He's able to adjust. He can go for the strikeout if he needs the strikeout. He can pitch to contact when he needs to pitch to contact. He's got so much in his arsenal, so many different ways to use his arsenal, so many different ways to sequence it. Listen, the guy is just playing his tail end off right now, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch this kid growing right there on the mound in the middle of a big league game and coming into his own.
Drew Wagner joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show. We are presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. So as we look at the series, and we talked about guys like Perkins and Vaughn, we've talked all season about, especially more recently, about guys like Collins and Durbin. Is it 1 through 26 against the Cubs, or do the Brewers need a Churio or a Yelich? And as much as Contreras has struggled offensively, do they need one of the big guys at the top of the order to set the tone and to show the way? Kind of like Yelich does with his effort, but do they need a big hit early just to set that tone from one of the big dogs?
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? It's kind of how they did it against the Dodgers, that first game against Yamamoto. And, of course, Andrew Vaughn delivered the big hit in that one. But, yeah, getting one of those guys hot and getting one of those guys on a heater would be huge in this series. I mean, you can't – it is definitely a 1 through 26 type thing. But you need those guys to swing the big bat in the big moments. And there will be no bigger moment up to this point than these 3 games.
Well, and I think we've seen one guy at least get a little hot. His name is Jackson Churio. What, a 20-game hit streak now? What can his momentum bring for the rest of the team? And how is impressive? Here's a guy who exploded on the scene last year. We all expected to be like an MVP candidate this year, and maybe hasn't quite played to that level. But how impressive is it that through this season, he's now getting hot and being that guy that we all know he can be?
I mean, if you're going to get hot, this is the time to do it, right? If you're going to go on a heater, this is the time to do it. And he kind of did that last year. He was the Brewers' best hitter over the second half, and he kind of carried that offense. You'd like to see a little bit more power, a little bit more slug coming out of the bat. I think it's coming. Usually when a guy heats up like this, the power is the last thing to show up. But yeah, if he can pace that offense.
Yeah, I was going to say, and we've seen the doubles come. So like that might be the precursor to seeing some more home runs come as well.
Yep. It's all how they pitch him too. I talked about this with Tommy. The impressive thing is he's not going out there looking to crush the ball over the fence. He is taking the pitches that they're giving him. And they're not always damaged pitches. He's doing what he can with the pitches that he's given and doing damage with those. And I think it's really good to have that self-awareness in a young player and to not try to do too much, not try to put it all on himself, not try to win every game with one swing. I think that's the most impressive thing about Jackson Chourio right now.
Drew Wagner joins the Mason Crosby Show every Monday and Thursday, and that means you were on last Thursday, but we haven't talked to you since the Home Run Derby and Keon Broxton and all the fun those guys had. What was your impression of the Home Run Derby? What do you think fans will remember from it? What just kind of like what stood out to you from that Home Run Derby event?
I thought it was a really cool event. I thought they did a great job with it. I thought the format was fine. I thought it was just the right length of time to keep people interested and without it becoming boring like the All-Star Game Home Run Derby. Seeing those guys back, I mean, that was great. They're some of the most colorful characters in Brewers history, some of the best players in Brewers history. It was nice to have, this is not a knock on those guys, it was nice to have an event that wasn't celebrating the 82 team for a change, and finally giving these guys who turned the corner, turned the fortunes of the franchise around, giving them their due. You know, the Ricky Weeks, the Prince Fielder, the Corey Hart, the Ryan Braun, the Hardy, those guys that came in the early 2000s and were the first, they snapped the playoff drought. They got the monkey off the bat, and they laid the foundation for the success that you're seeing today. You know, having those guys back, I think, was a really, really good event.
And then I know he was only here for half a season, and we'll all remember him more as a Yankee and then as an Indian as well. But I thought it was pretty cool that CC Sabathia yesterday, going into the Hall of Fame, you know, he sent out 3 tweets. What did he send? Like Milwaukee, Cleveland, New York. And, of course, the Milwaukee one has more likes, has more retweets, and it just shows, like, you know, New York Yankees fans or whatever and Guardians fans or whatever, but Brewers fans are the real deal.
Yeah, they love CeCe here, and rightfully so. What he did in 2008 was magical. It was fun to cover, and what a great guy. You know, he was such a commensurate teammate. Such a competitor, such a battler, putting the team on the back like he did down the stretch in 2008, taking the ball on short rest, going into his walk year. It was incredible to see. Could not be happier for CC Sabathia. You talk about guys that deserve it, that epitomize what the game is all about. CC Sabathia is one of those guys, and for him to get his flowers yesterday was a great moment for baseball.
No doubt. Well, Drew, enjoy the rest of hotel breakfast. I know I love a good hotel breakfast. So you enjoy, sit tight, make your way back to Milwaukee, enjoy the series this week. I will see you Wednesday, I assume, and I will catch up with you on the radio on Thursday.
Sounds good, my friend. Text soon.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon, Drew. That's Drew Wagner from Forbes Sports. You can follow him on Twitter at @ByAndrewWagner, BY. By Andrew Wagner on the Twitterverse. Of course, Drew joining us on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. The Cubs. Are the Cubs in town? Are they on a bus right now? Do they fly? I assume they bus, because it's so easy. Like, it probably takes more time if you were to fly. Are they on their... I bet they're on the bus right now, probably listening to us. Well, if you're listening to us, Cubs, you want some? Come get some. Let's go, crew. Oh, it's going to be a fun week here in Milwaukee. We got these 3 games, and then State Fair starts on Thursday. Like, I mean, 3. You know, we got cream. The Cubs are going to be the cream puffs for the Brewers, and then we got cream puff seed all week for those of you who like cream puffs. Don't get mad at me, bro. Have we had cream puffs delivered here, by the way? Like, usually we get cream puffs the week of State Fair. I wonder if the cream puffs are on their way. They probably, I hope so.
I didn't see any.
Yeah, none yet, but hopefully they're coming. We're going to talk, Andy Herman talked about the defense. We're going to get back to some Packers talk. Also, there's some Aaron Rodgers sound I wanted to look at, and a little J.J. Watt situation. That I want to talk about from Friday night at the Brewers game that I think is a little bit of a situation. I think we got to discuss this. And, of course, Tommy, the absolute defensive stalwart in left field. Like, Basically, the game yesterday, the softball game, evolved into don't hit the ball to the left side because Mitch is at short and Tommy's in left. And if you hit it anywhere to the left side, you're out. You're going to get out. It's not going to go well for you.
Were you 0 for 5 at the plate?
I think we were 0 for 5
0 for 5 at the plate. But
we were the two best defensive
no grounders,
players.
right? No grounders.
Nope,
hit them all in the air. Hit them all in the air. We were trying that. We were just going for it.
And we were the two best defensive players out there.
I have the video right here. Should we throw it on the way out right here?
Yeah, let's throw it up there on the way out right now. And this catch is just like, this catch is unbelievable. I lost my brain. The guy gets a liner to left. Tommy comes running in, a straight dive in to make the catch. I'm at third base. I'm right over, and I raised my arm. I'm jumping up and down. I think I tried to pick you up, which was kind of a questionable to say.
Yeah.
You went for like the jump, like into
I was going for the jump bump.
Yeah, and I tried to grab you and pick you up. All right, it was our first time on the field together. It's a work in progress. Now we know.
It's all right.
So we'll talk a little bit about the Border Brouhaha as well. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Oh, Cubs, let's go. The place where I fell asleep inside you. How do I get myself back to place where you said I want something else to get me through this semi-charm kind of life. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon. Remember, we are on YouTube now. That's right. We are live on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee. You do need to use the @ sign at The Fan Milwaukee. We talked about it with Drew Wagner, who joined us on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law One Call. That's all. Big 3-game series at American Family Field gets underway tonight between the Brewers and Cubs. Tommy Wirtz, the one, the only, gets you ready for the first pitch with a special 90-minute leadoff show to make fun of the Cubs, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. That starts this afternoon at 5. So you've got Wisconsin Sports Daily from 2 to 5. You then got Tommy from 5 to 6:30, and then sit back, relax, and watch The Miz deal the way he does. So a lot of excitement here in Milwaukee. There's no, be excited, people. Don't try to hide it. Don't try to, we all try to, and I do this all the time, temper expectations, manage your expectations. Let loose this week.
Yeah, you are the worst at this.
I am not the worst. I'm actually the best at managing expectations and realizing it's a 162-game season and you can't go nuts on May 27th for one game.
This is, you know what you always say?
What do I always say?
What kind of food is this? It's a raisin in the trail mix?
Yes.
These are the M&Ms,
No.
baby.
Yes, exactly.
These are the M&Ms.
Exactly.
Go crazy.
You get 3 M&Ms in a row,
Yeah.
you go nuts.
Yeah.
You go nuts.
This is not a raisin in the trail mix.
Listen,
These are the M&Ms.
The Dodgers games were M&Ms too, right?
Yeah.
The Dodgers, they were okay, maybe 2 M&Ms and a raisin. This is 3 M&Ms in a row.
M&Ms.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I want in my trail mix? I want some Nerds gummy clusters mixed in there too. It would actually be terrible, but Nerds gummy clusters are delicious. Some Packers news. Really the only newsworthy thing to relate from before practice. They are getting on the field literally right now. 2 minutes ago, practice started. And so Andy Herman will start tweeting his play-by-play as he always does. But Elton Jenkins will practice. He's off the PUP, non-football injury, whatever it was. He had a little bit of a back situation. He's not going to go through full practice today. He'll be doing individual drills only, but he is off that list now. Elton Jenkins is cleared and is in the mix. So we'll keep our eyes on everything else going on with the Packers. Andy Herman, of course, host of Pack-A-Day radio show every day here, 8 to 9, also does the Pack-A-Day podcast, does all sorts of other things. And I know that you and he, Tommy, you guys were talking about that traditionally, I think this is pretty normal that defenses are ahead of offenses. But you asked him, who's playing better so far at training camp?
Are you more impressed with the offensive or defensive side of the football now through 1 week of training camp for the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, definitely the defensive side of the ball. The defense has been, and this is very classic start of training camp stuff, defense is ahead of the offense, but it definitely feels that way so far. Like I said, there's been a couple explosive plays here and there, that Dontavian Wicks being probably the most impressive of them, but defense is not allowing big plays. Xavier McKinney looks like a stud. There's nothing really to make about the offense or defensive lines up until we get the pads on, so make of that what you will. Secondary looks fantastic so far. Nate Hobbs looks legit on the outside. Keyshawn Nixon, I think, has allowed 2 completions through 4 days of training camp. He has been pretty locked down on his side. It has been really impressive. That I think even Javon Bullard, Carrington Valentine's been really good. And then the safeties just look great as well. So, no, I think the defense is ahead of the offense. And it's not even necessarily oh my God, this player is playing so incredible. It's just the defense is flying around, confusing, rallying to the football, pre and post snap movement, tons of communication, checks at the line. I joked the other day of how in the Joe Barry, Mike Patton eras, even at the end of the Dom Capers era, we would always joke because after a play was given up by the defense, it was basically like the Packers version of the pointing Spider-Man meme of how everyone's pointing at each other of who was supposed to have who in coverage, and there was these breakdowns in coverage all the time, and it was annoying as heck, right? And now the beautiful thing is that all of those communications and points and everything like that, those are happening pre-snap. Everyone's getting on the same page. Everyone's aware of where they're supposed to be.
I think that's the biggest takeaway is what he ended with there. Is that immediately right away in training camp, guys are getting it. And I think that's a Hafley situation. Like, I think Hafley has taught them the right way. I think he has trained them the right way. I think they have the right guys there. And am I still worried about LVN and Rashawn Gary? Absolutely. Am I still worried about Kenny Clark? Yeah. Am I still worried about the cornerback room? 1,000%. But the fact that, like, they are in the right place at the right time. Now, they might not be the right player at the right time, and we'll figure that out. We'll see how that all comes together. And especially now that pads are going on today, we'll find that out this week a little bit more than we did last week. But the fact that the defense is not lost, the defense is not broken, the defense is not confused, I think that speaks a lot, not to the fact that defense is ahead of offense, because defense should be ahead of offense. It's kind of like in the first week of spring training, like, the pitchers are ahead of the hitters because the hitters haven't gotten their time again, and that's fine. But the fact that, like, they seem to be getting it right away, and so now they can improve upon that. Like, they don't have to go back and teach the fundamentals. They don't have to go back and teach, the things that they should already know, that they should have learned in OTAs or they should have learned during the offseason. They've got all that. Now Jeff Hafley can really get them to the right spots at the right time, to get them to communicating the right way, the way they need to be communicating. And that's what makes me excited. 414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. 414-677-1250. 608 writes in, the Packers were top 5 at total defense last year. This defense will be better within 2 years with this defensive coordinator. I mean, it's going to be better this year. It'll be even better next year. I mean, with that linebacking core, I'm excited about that linebacking core. I'm excited to see what they can do. And yes, do we still have questions about Quay Walker as well? Of course we do. There are still lots of questions because of who was here before Jeff Hafley, because of what we saw from these players before Jeff Hafley, and what we saw from some of these players last season. Like, will LVN ever be who we want? I said it during a break to time, just trade for Trey Hendrickson already. I just figured that out. Like, would you trade Logan Henderson for Trey Hendrickson? I probably wouldn't, but I might trade some of those other Brewers names. There's no such thing as prospects in football. But I would figure out whatever that draft pick needs to. I don't know that I'm trading a one or multiple ones, knowing that you have to pay him and his age. But whatever the market rate is for Trey Hendrickson, if I'm the Packers, I would probably pay that, knowing that I probably need a cornerback more than I need a pass rush. But pass rush makes all the cornerbacks look better, doesn't it? Like, that's a common mantra in football, right, Tommy? That, like, if you have the pass rusher, all of a sudden your cornerbacks look a lot better when you give the quarterback has half a second less every down.
Yeah, for sure. And on top of it, now the pass rush, like everyone saw what the Eagles did last year. They won the Super Bowl with pass rush.
Yep. Yeah. Like, their cornerbacks, and they had good play throughout the defense, but it made everybody on that defense look a lot better because of how that pass rush looked. 414-677-1250 is the phone number and the talk and text line. Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. Aaron Rodgers was not at the border brouhaha yesterday. And one day, Aaron Rodgers will go into the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame. But that day is not today. He is the current quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And as opposed to past years where he talks to McAfee all the time, and he talks to Rogan, and he's talking to some local media. It seems like he's making nice in Pittsburgh a little bit. He talked over the weekend about Terry Bradshaw. When the Steelers were flirting with Aaron Rodgers, Bradshaw had some negative comments about Aaron. And so Aaron had a little comment about that over the weekend that I thought would be beneficial for us all to listen to.
I'm always very amused, Aaron, by your observations of the media. Okay? Everybody's going to get a little squirrely now. Someone had a nuclear take on you. Terry Bradshaw, number 12 from the Steelers. Terry Bradshaw says, Rodgers to the Steelers. I wrote it down because I want to get it right. It's a joke. Stay in California, chew on bark, and whisper to the gods.
Well, I whisper to the gods every single day.
Damn right.
I've known Terry for a long time, being a part of Fox. Terry's a legend. He's an absolute legend. He won 4 Super Bowls. He's had a legendary career in the media. But Terry, like a lot of people, doesn't know me. And so he's got an idea of what he thinks about me based on what I've done, the documentary, what I've said, Darkness Retreat, whatever the hell you want to talk about. I'd love to get to know Terry on a deeper level. And I feel like if he gave me a chance to get to know him, that we'd have a good friendship, because for me, I have nothing but the utmost amount of respect and deference for what the greats have done, because they laid the foundation for us to be able to play in this great game, to be paid like kings, and to carry on the tradition of excellence that guys like the Bradshaws of the world in the 70s and Bart Starr in the 60s and Lombardi and Joe Montana and Steve Young and Troy Aikman and Brett Favre and all the greats that have been over, Tom Brady. You know, we're standing on the backs of those guys, and it's because of how they played and how they carried themselves that we're able to have this opportunity to still play this great game, to get paid really well, to set ourselves up for our future. So I'd love to get to know Terry on a deeper level if he's open to it, and maybe we can go chew some bark or whatever the hell he's talking about together.
Tommy, do I have to say it? This is the Aaron Rodgers we all know and love, right?
Oh, man, I'm glad.
This is the Aaron Rodgers that we loved for years in Green Bay. That's like smart, takes his time with his thoughts, and is like a normal human being. Like, that is a normal human being response to, like, listen, Bradshaw said I'm crazy. Yeah, I've done some crazy things, but, like, I respect the NFL. I respect the guys who came before me. I'd love to meet up with him. I'd love to have a cup of coffee or chew bark or whatever. But, like Aaron Rodgers sounded like a normal human being in this, and he hasn't sounded like a normal human being in, like, 4 years.
I think he purposely was trolling specifically people like you the last few years. And
sure, but he also was going he went overboard in a way that like anybody can troll. But then like to do the ayahuasca and do the silent and to talk like the whole his family and his exes, and it's like things have gone wrong for him.
I mean, how would you act if you had unlimited money too?
I would give you $100 right now and we'd go get lunch.
Yeah, I just think that it's funny to hear the comments and to clap back at it at Terry Bradshaw because Aaron Rodgers, I think he just wants what everyone wants, and that is, hey, I'm going to do my thing. You go do your thing. However I display that to anyone, however you display whatever you do to everyone, it's just not that serious. And enjoy your time. Don't bother me. I won't bother you. I think that's what everyone can learn from Aaron Rodgers over the years.
Interesting. I think there's something to that. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think there have been times that the way he's done that has been intentionally negative to people in a way that you don't need.
True.
Like if you have unlimited money and you've put yourself on,
he also gets interviewed every day
by choice.
By
choice,
not really by choice.
He goes on McAfee and Rogan and all the podcasts by choice.
Sure, but he's also an NFL quarterback.
This sit down was by choice. This wasn't at the media scrum. This wasn't like tonight after the Brewers game. There'll be media all over Mizorowski.
This was with Kyle Brandt, okay? So this is a national reporter. Yep. This is a guy who had to ask to talk to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers isn't going to talk to people because he's ready to go talk to people. He is being asked to talk at all of these functions and at these events. So I think that to say his choice to be interviewed, if it was Aaron Rodgers' choice, he would talk way less.
I don't know. I think he loves how smart he is. He loves he loves the sound of his own voice. He loves tweaking everybody all the time. So it was refreshing to hear this, that like he didn't go after Brad. Now, maybe he's just being politically smart. Like in Pittsburgh, you don't go after Bradshaw, right? Like Pittsburgh loves Terry Bradshaw.
Right.
So you don't go after Bradshaw. But you know what? Even if it was just that, and it was good to hear. It was good to hear that he has some humanity left inside of him.
I always knew it did.
I know. So did Mason. So you guys, I'm down 2-1 on this one. That's okay. I can take it.
You're not going to turn me against Aaron Rodgers.
No,
Aaron's going to have to do some crazy stuff for me to not like
Which
him.
he may have. He may have. We just don't know.
Right. I hope
we only know what we know.
Right. If we know what we know, no, he's still like one of my favorite players of all time to watch.
That's
in
fair.
any sport.
This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Mason is at the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame golf outing at Grand Geneva. Hopefully he's hitting them straight right now and not melting, because it is HOT hot out there. And I'm guessing on the golf course, it is as hot, if not hotter. It's currently 84 in Hales Corners, getting up to 91. Heat advisory until 8 o'clock tonight. So if you got softball after work or whatever you're doing today, you're going to go for a walk or maybe go on the swing set and swing some swings. Tommy, when's the last time you sat on a swing and just swung?
Long time.
Been a minute?
Long time.
Been a minute. Okay. Thunder Watch is coming up next. I don't know if JJ Watt, we save Thunder Watch for Wisconsin athletics. I don't know if JJ Watt qualifies or not. We will discuss next. Coming up here on the Mason Crosby Show. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. We're in the fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Oh, did I mess up the camera? Look, I can just do that. See, I know we're live on. I know we're here. Right. I could just. You waved to me, and I moved.
I was waving at the camera because you could see my arm.
Were you on two screens at once?
Just my arm.
Wow.
You could just see my arm.
You get paid extra for that.
I don't think so.
Well,
it'll cost you an arm and a leg if you want to.
Nice.
You know.
It depends what website you're on. My name's Mitch Nelles, a.k.a. Thunder. Tommy Wirtz is here as well. We are literally the two best defensive players in the history of the game of softball. That was proven yesterday at the border brouhaha. Tommy with a diving catch and left on a ball hit like right at him, and that's the hardest diving catch to make.
It was a slide, actually. It wasn't a dive.
Okay. All right. It
was like like how you slide and catch it, as opposed to it was feet first, not.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I had I guess a sliding stop at short.
It was a good stop. That was a good stop. I would say we had the top 3 plays of the day.
Yeah. I definitely
Other than Jordy homered, and then
that other guy hit 2 home runs.
Yeah, that one guy hit 7 RBIs. That was a good day for him.
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, Mitch, I know it was for charity. The Mickey Mouse Grand Slam. We had the double play.
Right. Yes, that is correct.
I mean,
once Mason's kids were inserted into the lineup as like runners for hitters, and then like we had to make them feel good about themselves. Yeah, it wasn't. Listen, it was a celebrity softball game. It wasn't a competitive softball game. It wasn't like 3 up, 3 down. We played around with the outs and stuff like that, and that was as it should be.
Oh yeah. No, it was a fun and it was awesome. So shout out the Beloit Sky Carp. They were great.
Yes,
it was a fantastic event. Everyone who came out was awesome.
Team Lammy did awesome. Zach from the Sky Carp was great.
Make-A-Wish, Wisconsin. Glad that we got to get everything done for them.
Wendy and Forrest. Yep. And shout out to Patty Gorski, the OG. Of course, she wasn't there, but because she's retired. Wendy's now running things, and Forrest, their VP of Communications. He's awesome. We should get him on sometime. He's when they do sports stuff, he's always on top of it. All right, so let's get to Thunder Watch. Last week, Tommy called in sick, which was crazy because Tommy is like the strongest stud I know. Like, if I am counting on somebody to show up, it is Tommy, 100 out of 100. So, he doesn't get sick. He was poisoned.
I was poisoned.
Yes, that is
I was poisoned.
Yes,
yeah,
I think.
By food.
Yeah, exactly. So, last week, Sparky and I put Matt Arnold on Thunder Watch. So if I don't know how to update your document. I actually opened your document and then I was confused.
Yeah.
So not in a bad way, but just in a way that like over this week we are watching Matt Arnold. Like all eyes are on Brewers general manager Matt Arnold to see what he does, to see what happens. Is it a relief pitcher? Is it a backup middle infielder? Is it Eugenio Suarez? Is it someone else we haven't even thought of? We don't know what that's going to look like. We don't have those answers. We will have those answers. So Matt Arnold's on Thunder Watch. That's all.
Makes sense.
Not in a bad way. Just like he's under the microscope this week. We're keeping an extra eye on him, as opposed to just like normal run-of-the-mill week. So I don't know if you want to run down Thunder Watch, if you've got any nominees for Thunder Watch.
I got you here. So on Thunder Watch currently, we have Jake Bowers, Chad Patrick, Luke Fickell, Elton Jenkins, Doc Rivers, and we took John Horst off. Kyle Kuzma still on it. Jimmy Haslam, Joey Ortiz. Jared Koenig was a maybe. Are we officially putting him on?
Nah.
And Matt Arnold, the newest addition.
Jake Bowers is on the injured list. And Chad Patrick's at AAA, so I think we can take both of them out.
Gotcha.
We're watching what's going to happen with them, but they're not really on Thunder Watch. I don't know. So we put Matt Arnold on. Is there any nominees you can think of? Anybody early in Packers training camp? Anybody Brewers specific that needs to step up their game maybe a little bit?
Well, I think you should read off what you just told me, and then we can make a decision on who should be on Thunder Watch from there with the latest edition of the Packers offensive line development at training camp.
The walkthrough offensive line, according to Andy Herman, at Andy Herman NFL on Twitter, is Walker, Banks, Jenkins, Ryan, and Tom. No Jordan Morgan.
There's my nominee for Thunder Watch.
You know what? I'm good with that. Let's throw Jordan Morgan on for sure. I also wonder if that is more like at some point we have to ask Matt LaFleur, we have to ask the offensive Stenovich, we have to ask the offensive line coach, like, what's the deal with Jordan Morgan? What's the situation here? How's this all work? If you have any nominations for Thunder Watch, which we do whenever Mason's not here, once a week. 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. That is your Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. Real quick, I want to share before we end up the show, J.J. Watt was at the Brewers game Friday night. And Tommy, I know you know what the 999 challenge is.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have to look it up. I knew what it was. I had to explain it to Mrs. Thunder this morning, and she said, ew, disgusting. So it's 9 beers, 9 hot dogs, and 9 innings. And J.J. Watt was in a suite Friday night at the Brewers game. And in the middle of the 5th inning, he takes his last bite of a hot dog and says, I just did it. I did 999. I did 9 beers and 9 hot dogs. And a lot of people were like, oh, J.J. Watt's the best. Oh, we love J.J. Watt. But there was a little undercurrent of Brewers fans who said, that's not the 999 challenge. It's easier to do it faster. Like if you do 1 hot dog and 1 beer each inning, like that's harder than to have 3 hot dogs and 3 beers like in 20 minutes.
Correct.
And so I would argue that J.J. Watt has not done the 999 challenge.
I would agree.
He had 9 hot dogs. He had 9 beers. He did it within 9 innings, but he didn't do it 1 per inning.
Yeah.
So to our friend J.J. Watt, who I'm sure is listening to the show, and I'm sure his parents actually are probably listening because they're great local citizens. We love you. You're awesome. And if you want to do it live on YouTube with me or Tommy, or we'll get Mason
we can validate your 999
Yes.
challenge if you do it on the Mason Crosby show
that
the
is
entire
correct.
time.
Yeah, we will do 999 with you. But doing 999 in 5.5 innings is not doing 999. I don't know that JJ Watt's on Thunder Watch. Like I don't know that I don't know that we would put JJ Watt on Thunder Watch for that, but he's on some sort of watch for that, I feel.
He's on Glizzy Watch.
Ooh, nicely done there. This has been the Mason Crosby Show. Mason's back tomorrow. He's IRL, in real life, in studio tomorrow. He's down at Grand Geneva for the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame golf outing today, having a blast. Congratulations to the Crosby family for their win in the Border Brouhaha, and Team Wisconsin taking the win yesterday. And Tommy and I will be back with you tomorrow with Mason Crosby. We'll be recapping, of course, Miz versus Boyd, a great special game tonight at AmFam Field. Make sure to listen into Wisconsin Sports Daily. David Haw of 670 The Score will be on at 3:20 with Sparky to talk about that border battle. This has been the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, and we're in the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.